Are AEW set to make a major change to their pay-per-views, and could Vince McMahon be in even more trouble? But first, a wrestling legend has passed away. Last night on Facebook, former UFC heavyweight champion Bas Rutten would reveal that martial arts and pro wrestling legend Gene LeBell has passed away at the age of 89, and Bas would write, "The great Gene LeBell, toughest man I know, has passed away and left us at the age of 89. My deepest condolences to his lovely wife Midge, his kids, and all his other family members and friends. You will be greatly missed, Gene. I love you, my friend, till we meet again." From the age of 7, LeBell would begin training with Ed Strangler Lewis and later Carl Gotch and Lou Fez before going on to wrestle all around the world. In 2005, he would win the Frank Gotch Award before being inducted into the NWA Hall of Fame in 2011. Nicknamed the Godfather of Grappling, he is credited with popularizing grappling in the professional fighting circles, which ultimately led to the creation of MMA later down the line. He was an influence on many wrestlers, including Ronda Rousey, with him even accompanying her to her MMA fights. His famous LeBell Lock submission hold is still used in pro wrestling today, a move most widely known to be used by Bryan Danielson. During Bryan's time in WWE, the hold would go by the name of the Yes Lock, with it now reverting back to its original name in AEW. I'm sure I speak for all of us in sending our thoughts to the family and friends of Gene LeBell during this difficult time. And next, a top New Japan star has been pulled from upcoming events. Before New Japan Pro Wrestling's show last night in Hiroshima, the company would announce that IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White will no longer be working the show due to illness, and New Japan would take to their website to write, "Jay White, who was scheduled to wrestle in Hiroshima Sun Plaza Hall this evening, has been affected by heat stroke-like symptoms and as a result will be removed from August 9 and 10 cards due to an abundance of caution. As an additional precautionary measure, White has undertaken COVID testing which has returned negative." There's no word on how long White will be out of action, but hopefully he can get back to full health in the coming days and weeks. Next up, Tony Khan has addressed backstage unhappiness in AEW. In recent weeks, speculation has arose that certain wrestlers are unhappy with their spots in AEW, whether it be Miro and Andrade El Idolo liking tweets about how they're underused, or whether it's former AEW stars such as Joey Janela and Alan Angels, who have since complained about lack of TV time and communication with the boss. This week, AEW president Tony Khan would speak on Super Crossover with Josh Martinez, where he would address the situation, revealing that he is made steps to improve things, and he would say, "We have a great team of people. I recently did some promotions and added to the team. With a new group, hopefully the communication is only going to get better because I can only be in so many places at one time and talk to so many people with such a big team. I think that'll help. In general, I think we have a great environment and a great backstage. There is a lot of really good camaraderie and momentum. I can't get everybody on the show. It is challenging in some ways when you have 3 hours of television. I get that. If you're looking at a competitor that has 7 hours of television, the people in the company are twice as likely to be on TV, if you look at it that way. Overall, I think the vibe is positive and we're all really excited. It's a big time of year for AEW with All Out coming up, one of the biggest events on the calendar, and we approach one of our biggest TV events of the year, coming up to New York for AEW Grand Slam. The internal promotions include Sanjay Dutt, who is now the Vice President of Production and Creative Coordination, QT Marshall, who is now the Vice President of Show and Creative Coordination, Pat Buck, who is now the Vice President of Talent Development, and Tony Schiavone, who is the Senior Producer and Special Advisor to Talent. On top of this, Madison Rayne has been signed as a coach for the women's division. They've all now been given talent or creative-based leadership roles, with them set to act as a bridge between talent and Tony Khan. And next, Vince McMahon and Tony Khan have been thanked for working together. On July 31st, StarCast and Jim Crockett Promotions would hold an event named Ric Flair's Last Match, where the Nature Boy teamed up with his son-in-law Andrade El Idolo to take on the duo of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. The match involved individuals from both AEW and WWE, with Jay Lethal and Andrade being signed to AEW, whilst Jeff Jarrett works in WWE as Senior Vice President of Live Events, with him also working SummerSlam the night before as a special guest referee in the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and the Street Profits. StarCast promoter and popular podcaster Conrad Thompson would speak on the My World with Jeff Jarrett podcast this week to thank both AEW President Tony Khan and former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon for working together, and he said, I want to give a ton of credit and props and kudos to Tony Khan for allowing really the forbidden door to happen. We're not supposed to talk about it, but we're going to say it one time. We had an AEW superstar tag teaming with a WWE special vice president to take on an AEW superstar and Ric Flair. That shouldn't have happened. There's a lot of reasons that it shouldn't have happened, but Vince McMahon, back when that was a thing, greenlit it, and so did Tony Khan, and this could not have happened without both of those folks allowing it. Another reason that made the match improbable was the recent Ric Flair Dark Side of the Ring backlash, with AEW seemingly dropping plans to bring Flair into the fold, although they were eventually willing to work with him. As a side note, on his own podcast, To Be the Man, Ric Flair would reveal that he passed out twice during the match, which would explain the several pauses throughout, with this no doubt being the last time he stepped between the ropes as a competitor. Next up, MJF will return to AEW. The mystery of MJF has continued to keep the internet talking, with the Salt of the Earth not being seen since his pipe bomb promo at AEW Dynamite in Los Angeles on June 1st. Well, we now know more on the locker room's feelings on the situation, with it believed within AEW that MJF will be back at some point, although Tony Khan, the target of the promo, has kept quiet on the situation. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer would take to Twitter to say, "Everything is secretive, but everyone in AEW assumes he's coming back at some point, but they don't know for sure, and Khan hasn't told anyone as far as I know." On top of this tweet, there's been a potential hint that MJF is heading back to AEW sooner than we think, with former AEW Women's World Champion Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking to her Instagram story to post a photograph of herself and Maxwell. Whether she will be joining him upon his return is doubtful, and she may just be trying to get people talking, but it's certainly an interesting note. With the Quake by the Lake edition of AEW Dynamite set for just hours away, could we be seeing the return of MJF so soon? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And next up, are AEW set to make a major change to their pay-per-views. Over the past year or so, All Elite Wrestling has garnered criticism from some fans who feel their pay-per-view shows go on for too long. It seems that there may be a solution coming to fix the problem after AEW wrestler and coach Dustin Rhodes appeared at Terrificon this weekend, where he revealed some interesting information. Not only did he reveal that AEW was set to hold a show at Fulham Football Club Stadium Craven Cottage, a team owned by AEW President Tony Khan's father Shahid, where Tony actually works as the director of football, but they look set to hold 2 night pay-per-views in the future, and Dustin would say, "UK, our television in the UK is doing well. Tony's soccer team is right there, and he wants to run Craven Cottage, probably 40-50,000 people. I guarantee it would sell out. Will we sell out the United States stadiums? It's growth. It takes time to make these things happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but we will get there. Hopefully someday, like Chicago, the United Center, we smack it out and it's 19,000 people. If we did go to a stadium show, I hope that we would do well for a Double or Nothing or All Out. Do I know if it's going to sell out? I have no idea. I would hope so, but we don't need to do those all the time. You have these arenas that are just fine. I think we're going to do 2-day events now for pay-per-views, I believe. I've heard that down the pike. It'll be like a WrestleMania experience. You have 2 days of Double or Nothing, or 2 days of All Out or Revolution. It's worth noting that Dustin was a little bit off with the attendance of a potential Craven Cottage show, with it holding around 25,000 people for football matches, and probably around 30,000 with seats on the pitch. Either way, what do you make of a potential AEW UK stadium show and 2-night AEW pay-per-views? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, it looks like Vince McMahon could be in even more trouble. Over recent months, it has been reported that Vince McMahon had paid millions of dollars in hush money, which was unaccounted for in WWE's financial filings. Following further investigation from the WWE Board of Directors, more payments that were made by McMahon have been discovered, although apparently not related to the hush money, with WWE's newest SEC filings reading, "On July 25, 2022, the company announced that it has made a preliminary determination that certain payments that Vince McMahon agreed to make during the period from 2006 to 2022, including amount paid and payable in the future totaling $14.6 million, were not appropriately recorded as expenses in the company's consolidated financial statements. Since that time, the company has determined that 2 additional payments totaling $5 million, unrelated to the allegations that led to the special committee investigation that Mr. McMahon made in 2005 and 2009, should have been recorded in the company's consolidated financial statements. Together, these unrecorded expenses total $19.6 million. Vince has now retired from all positions within WWE, with him nowhere to be seen since July 22nd, 2022. The retirement came after an investigation that was launched against McMahon on June 15th, with him lasting just 1 week in his positions after initially stepping aside. The hush money between 2006 and 2022 now totals $14.6 million, and now an extra 5 on top in unaccounted for payments. And before you go, make sure you check out every All In wrestler that didn't sign for AEW.